It is the 41st millennium. For 10,000 years, the Imperium has dominated the galaxy. There is only war. Every human soul, from the most highborn lord to the most basic servitor, is dedicated to the service of the God Emperor of mankind.
Is this the only kind of no-hoper we can recruit these days? Hello everybody to, if England and the USA had a baby, all the knife bins have been raided, and this country is showing the most proudest of freedoms this has ever had. You're John Raw. Personal OC, do not steal. In the universe where war never changes, and most importantly, never ends. After making your character, then choosing your favorite color, maybe your preferred way of violence, you're slapped into the game of one of 4 classes. I've been at war for too long. The eyes, praise the Emperor several times over. Or I only chose this one because I could throw a rock at people to see funny ragdolls. Or I wanted him to look like Shrek. Now you're gonna have 3 questions. How'd we get here? Where is here? And who are these characters? Once upon a time, there was a planet of Walter Whites. All the Walter Whites got cancer because of the fucking sun. Walter White tried to move to other planets, but all the Walter White babies got cancer as well. Finally, Walter White actually met God, or what could be conceived as God Frog. After they met God Frog went, we feel bad for you, lol, get scrubbed, noob, get better, get good. After this common Dark Souls discussion, you find out that there's more God Frogs than just the one God Frog, and that they provide life to other planets. Well, Beta Walter Whites did not like getting scrubbed, so they tried to scrub the Scrubbers, but once again, they got scrubbed. The Scrubbers won, but not for long, because the Scrubs met World Eaters, I think, and the World Eaters were like, hey, if you kill these God Frogs, we will help you with your cancer problem. And the Walter Whites were like, yeah, help us with our cancer problem. So the World Eaters turned Walter White into Robot Whites. They're robots now, and didn't know that when they lost their organic forms and stuff, that their souls were gone. So Walter White no longer has a soul. The Walter Whites and the God Frogs were at an all-out world, and during this, 2 things were happening. 1, other civilizations on other planets were happening, such as the Orcs and the Elves, properly known as the Eldarans, I think. And also, all this bad emotion and stuff was affecting the Immaterium, the Warp. I'm going to use proper terms now. The Warp. And basically, that stuff was filled with sunshine, rainbows, and cute little bunnies before this huge war started. It was such a huge galactic war that, since that's where all the dead people lived, the Warp was very angry. because the warp was very, very angry. It was a bad thing. It was a very bad thing. Now, the Aldarans were masters of the warp. They could use the warp to use psychic powers and stuff. But what do you think happens when, oh no, big scary, and someone uses oh no, big scary? The oh no, big scary goes to the oh no, big scary person, and that person can't control themselves anymore. So basically, all the god frogs died. The elves couldn't fucking control themselves because of fucking demons and the warp and stuff. And on top of that, the Necrons were like, "This so much stuff is happening. We're just gonna sleep for 600 million years or something, and we're gonna hope that all the warp issues are just gone." Walter White killed the World Eaters because they took his soul, they found out, and also the Eldaris figured out their whole psychic issue, and were basically taking over the entire galaxy. The Eldari basically figured out their immortal and stuff, and figured that war was boring, so they went to the creative arts. After a while, though, living a couple thousand millennium and stuff, they got bored of that and started doing like really weird freaky deaky shit, and that wasn't good, and basically birthed the Uh-ohs. The 4 big Uh-ohs are basically like the 4 primal sins of our race. One is greed, the other one's disease, one is wrath, and I forgot what the other one was. The Uh-ohs were born inside of the warp and basically used the warp in order to invade the minds of the Eldari, which were very psychic people that used the warp in order to use their psychic powers, which causes a whole demon thing and basically split the elves into 3 factions: Primal SpongeBob, Normal SpongeBob, and Vampire SpongeBob. Eventually, humans came into existence, and we had psychics too, and they looked into the future and were like, oh no, this big catastrophe is happening. So they sacrificed 10 of themselves, their psychic energies, into one guy, and he became the Emperor. Emperor Baby was like, hey, I'm different from everybody else, and like, I'm not normal and stuff, and I killed my father because he killed my uncle. I think, might be the other way around. Anyways, he pretended to be important political figures in order to drive humanity to the right course that he wanted to, because he was a really smart guy because of all his psychic powers. He's also immortal. Humanity was progressing during this time. Eventually, we figured out robots and warp travel. The warp was still extremely dangerous, but was the only way to travel across the stars and stuff, so we needed to use it. Then the robots were like, die, and then we like died, almost, completely. This lasted for 1,000 years until the Emperor was like, hey, I'm gonna fix this. So he fixed it, on Earth first, and they joined up with the Technomancers on Mars, because they had a religion over technology and stuff after the whole robot thing happened. The Emperor was like, no religion, but you're okay, baby girl. Then the Emperor basically made this thing, the Psychic Sun. It was so that they could like find their way back to Earth. Then he used the warp to go to other planets to save all the other human colonizations and stuff, and they were basically at civil war and like killing each other the entire time. He fixes all that, has sons.
Something cool.
Decides to leave his sons. Left son in charge. One son. His name was Horus. All the sons were immortal, by the way. Horus got hit with the gay stick, which made him not immortal and in a gay coma. This was all planned, by the way. Some guys said, go to this temple to get rid of the gay coma. They did. He got out of his gay coma, but then he got corrupted by the 4 Ohs while being in that gay coma. Killed a bunch of his own men, betrayed the Emperor. The Emperor went no and blasted him out of existence, but before the Emperor did that, Horus landed a fatal blow and turned the Emperor into a vegetable. Now, if he would have just died and stuff, that would have been fine, because he would have resurrected, because he's literally a god. But the humans didn't know that, so they took the Psychic Sun, made it a throne. It's called the throne now, and he's sitting on it on life support and stuff, and he can't do anything. So this council was made to basically act in his favor, and they made him like a religious figure, which he didn't want at all, and that's currently where we are. Oh, also the Necrons woke up, the elves are doing their thing, the orcs are trying to attack us, and there's these bug things. Also, all the demons of hell are constantly trying to attack the real world, and the galaxy is split in 2. 3 questions I'm going to answer. 1, I know that my voice sounds different every couple of minutes, and that's because I did these on different days. 2, yes, I know I left out a lot of shit, I'm just trying to get people caught up to where we are. And 3, that was a lot of information to take in all at once, so I'm going to give you a second.
Second's over, we're back to the video. Okay, bullet time. Green guy is bad but thinks he's good. He likes sickness. Hive cities are cities on top of cities. Lower levels are worse than if Ohio and Detroit had a baby, and that equals very good conditions for sickness. People feel betrayed by the council known as the Imperium because of bad living conditions, and that makes people stop believing in the Emperor and start worshipping Nurgle, the green guy. He thinks giving sickness is good. Those people give the sickness to others and worship Nurgle. This is an outbreak, like COVID, but with sick demon zombies backed by a god of chaos. These normal zombie sick people convince or turn military members, so now there's military zombie members, and they're important because they are strong and ranked in Nurgle's army. Some people who worship Nurgle aren't sick, they just worship. This is important. Some guys get taken by Inquisitors. He's across from your cell on a ship. Nurgle's army raids the ship. You escape, save this woman, she's okay. She recruits you for what? To fight Nurgle's army, because they have a whole militia to do that. Mind you, people still live in this city, so now you do different missions like recon and shit to stop this heresy and stuff, and you're literally just a guy, not a super soldier. Also, the Emperor has been a vegetable for like 1,000 years, and all the other guys like Walter White and Aldarn still exist. They are just doing their own thing and aren't involved in this game.
Hello, you've been hired. You might not think killing hordes of a zombie cult is your normal 9 to 5.
You want the job or not?
Your next question might be, how's the pay?
How's the pay?
Not great.
Surely it can't get worse though.
But the hours are worse.
Now, a part of your employment package means that we have 4 different positions for you, and they are all open because of our high turnover rates. Have you ever considered being a Baal priest, otherwise known as a zealot? No? Here, watch an introductory video on the subject.
Y'all ready to get funky?
The most important part of dance is music. So now let us listen to the music and identify the beats.
1, 2, 3.
But that was too soft.
Now the main problem area is up here. All of this going on up here is what's causing me the most physical discomfort.
The Zealot is a close combat machine, agile on thy legos and even stronger in thy faithus. Obsessive over the Emperor, sometimes faith is a stronger weapon than, well, a weapon. Commanding a holy fire grenade to cleanse heretics and the ability to become invincible in the name of the Emperor, this guy is a not dying machine. Well, unless you get trapped on a ledge where your teammates can't get you, there are 3 different playstyles for this guy. The fast and agile knife, the healer, or the DPS. I did none of those things because you can play however the fuck you want. I stacked my guy with the toughness to make himself on par with a space marine, and I gave my guy a chainsaw and a machine gun, and he fucking went with it. Number 1 rule, Zealot. Don't play Zealot. But if you're prepared for the brain rot, here's rule number 2. Rule number 2, always rush in. Fuck them. You're stronger than them sometimes, and your team needs to head in that direction anyways. You are the God's Emperor servant. Act like it. Rush in. Even if you're down, your teammates are there for a reason. They are glorified med packs so that they can pick you the fuck up. I cannot stress this enough. You are not getting brain rot. You are the brain rot. If you cannot show your teammates how quick you are to kill things, make sure they know how quick you are to die. And rule number 3 of playing as Zealot. If you can't cut them with a chainsaw, pull out your fucking gun. The gun enemies in this game will destroy you. Yes, you are God's Emperor servant, but fuck, that has limits. If you see someone with a gun, either make sure you can get to them, or pull out your fucking gun. If you want to help your teammates and you, don't worry about the big fucking melee guys. Prioritize the gunner. Big guys will take a while to get to you, and you can usually deal with them if you are maneuvering enough. But the gunners will stun you, and they will knock you down if you do not shoot first. You are fucked. Your gun is a tool. Act like it's a tool. If something's too far away, shoot it. Otherwise, that thing is going to mess you up very quickly. And rule number 4, if there are too many people for you to take out with just your sword in a group, use your block, use your push them away. You can push them far away so many times, I'm not even kidding, like there's a huge wall of enemies, push them.
Are you strong because you're I'd win? Or did you leave it all behind and stand proud because with this treasure I summon always bet on Hakari? I'm you. Wait a minute, what is going on? Hello? 911 operator? I'm literally having a stroke, help me please.
Medics are on their way, sir. Please hang in tight. Sir? Hang in there, sir. Hello?
Nah, I'd win.
Now, if there's one thing I know about playing Psyker, is that if you're not pressing 4 buttons constantly and at once, then you are probably playing wrong. Like honestly, you have at least 4 different ways of commencing mass destruction on your foes, and if you're not constantly switching between them in a panic, you are playing wrong. You're schizophrenic. Act like it. Rule number 1, stand the fuck back. You may be a tool of mass destruction, but when it comes to being hit, you may as well be a fucking paper napkin. Rule number 2, choose your magic based on how close you want to be to said enemy. The crystals will hunt down any annoying far gun based units like the gunner and the sniper, and it can take on large groups of enemies, but there's only 10 crystals you can use at a time, then they have to recharge. The shock will freeze huge groups of enemies, but it doesn't do all that much damage, and you're useless long range unless you pull out your gun.